Hello everybody, this is the UND Collector. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Just like to show you today some PSP games. These are racing games on PSP and they're the ones that I consider to be the top 10 of all the racing games that came out on PSP. There's so many racing games for PSP. Some of them didn't make this list, but that doesn't mean to say that they aren't good games or that they aren't worth picking up. But as a collector, obviously I have some games which I've always liked to play, and you know, the racing genre on all consoles is particularly a fond one for me because I do enjoy playing racing games. So here is my top 10 list of PSP games and I'm going to show you them now. At number 10 there's actually two games and I'd like to show you the first one, which is Need for Speed Underground Rivals. So here we go, Need for Speed Underground Rivals. One of the first racing games to come out for PSP. It launched with the PSP back in 2005. It was the first of its kind on PSP. We'd never had a racing game that was set on the streets, a street racing game. We never had a game before like this where you could mod your cars, you can upgrade them, and also you could collect cars as you went along. It's a very similar game to the ones that were released out on PS2. The graphics were really good for the time. Everybody was raving about it when it first came out. Not quite as lush as the Ridge Racer, you know, the graphics, but still very good for its time and definitely worth a pick up. Probably one of the better games in the Need for Speed franchise on PSP. So that one is number 10. Along with another title that I chose, which is Colin McRae Dirt 2. There have been a couple of games, Colin McRae games on PSP. The first one, Colin McRae Rally 2005, wasn't that good of a game. This one is much better, and I'll talk to you about Colin McRae 2005 after we've finished talking about my top 10 games. Dirt 2, very good arcade style racing rally game. Lots of different tracks, lots of different variety of conditions. You can upgrade your vehicles, you can unlock vehicles as you go along. The career mode is extensive and the graphics are very nice, and it's a very colourful game, very gritty in places that you know, as you can imagine in a Colin McRae game. And yeah, very good game and definitely worth a play. So that's one of the other games that gets to number 10 in my list. At number 9 we have Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which was based on Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift movie and set on the streets of Tokyo. Very much in the genre of street racing again. Infinite ways to upgrade your vehicle, from NOS kits to body kits to all manner of things that you can imagine that would be in a street racing game. Some of the races can be really challenging and difficult at times, especially when you start getting into the drift races where you've got to rack up points in order to move on to the next stage. There's a really cool way of displaying your cars in your garage. They're on like a lift system, very much like what they have in Japan, where they have the big car parks where they store cars in the centre and they come down on a lift. So yeah, really good game and definitely worth a pick up. So that gets to my number 9. At number 8 we have the excellent Split Second Velocity on PSP. Fabulous game that was brought out in 2010. What's different about this game is it's not just your average racing game where you know, you're against other racers. There's an added thing where you can actually you can set off an explosion, or you can set off some of the destructive elements of the environment to ward off your opponents in the race. Essentially, you gaining extra speed or an extra place in the race ahead of them. Very good game. This was actually brought out on PS3 as well. I can't speak for what the PS3 release was like, but definitely at the time it was one of the games that I was waiting for, and I really wanted to play it. And when I got it, I played it to death. Very, very good game. So that makes my number 8 in my list. Split Second Velocity. At number 7, we have Sega's Sega Rally. Didn't know what to expect when this was released because I'd never played Sega Rally before. Apparently, it's quite a long-standing franchise, you know, in the video game industry. So, and a lot of people were waiting for it to come out. This was released in 2007. When it hit the shelves, I went straight out and bought it, and I was just so impressed with the colour in the game and the way that it played. Quite a steep learning curve, but as you progress through the game, you get used to how the cars behave. Lots of different cars. Right from the start, you start with small Peugeot 206, and you build your way up to some of the better cars, some of the Subarus and 4x4s that you'd imagine you'd see in the rally circuit. You can upgrade your tyres, upgrade your vehicle so that it behaves better on the different environments. You're dealing with lots of different things like fire roads, gravel, snow, ice, you name it. Anything that can be thrown at you in a rally game, you'll find in this game. Very, very good game, and probably one of the best rally games on PSP, I would have thought. Just beats Colin McRae's Dirt 2, just by a small margin, but very, very good game on PSP. So that's my number 7, Sega Rally. At number 6, we have the excellent off-road Land Rover and Ford Off-Road. This, in a sense, is a sort of rally game because you're playing off-road, but the difference being that you're playing with some bigger vehicles, 4x4s, lots of different types of Land Rovers, trucks, all sorts of vehicles that you wouldn't normally see in a racing game. So from that perspective, it's very different. What's good about this game as well is you can upgrade your vehicles, but you can also repair them. You have the ability to pay money and repair your vehicles in the game. Extensive career mode, lots of different environments and tracks, and again, a very steep learning curve. And it's not a game that you'll just pick up and you know, you'll be playing through and you'll beat it dead quick. It's actually a game that you need to invest some time in. Very, very good game on PSP. So that's my number 6. At number 5, we have another Ford game on PSP. It's by the same developer, Explosive, as you can see there. Now, this game brought a lot of memories back to me because a lot of the cars that are in it, I remember from being a child, specifically the Ford series of cars, some of the muscle cars as well that you see in the series. Again, a street racing game where you pit against different opponents. You can actually team up and play as a duo. There's just lots of different elements to the game that make it fun. What I like best about this game is the fact that it's got a Ford Escort in it. Can you believe it? Ford Escort Mexico in it. And it's just a car that that reminds me very much of my childhood, so that's why I like the game. So yeah, so number 5, Ford LA Street Racing Duel. At number 4, we have the excellent Initial D Street Stage. This is one of the games that's considered by quite a number of PSP followers to be one of the best racing games on PSP. I wouldn't quite say that it's one of the best games, but it is certainly different in terms of how it's played, the kind of cars that are in it. Very, very, very much catering for some of the Japanese and Asian cars that you wouldn't normally get in a racing game. You find in this game. Again, you can upgrade your vehicles, but what's nice about this is it follows the anime series on the PSP. I don't know if you've ever watched any of the Initial D movies or anime cartoons, but very, very nice game and definitely worth investing in. It's not a cheap game to buy. I picked this up online, I think for about £30, but definitely worth a look at, and one of the how can I say, more special racing games on PSP. So that's Initial D Street Stage number 4. Back to classic racing now on PSP with number 3, and it's Wipeout Pure. This is the actual Japanese version. I do like to play a lot of games in their original releases. This was the original Japanese release on PSP, and most of the menus are in English, so it's dead easy to understand. But it's probably one of my favourite games of all time is Wipeout. Love the games on PS1, love the games on PS2, and no different on the PSP really. Very nice, colourful environments. Very it's a good impression of speed when you're playing the games, and it's just a brilliant futuristic racer, well worth picking up. And in some ways, I'd say that it's marginally better than the PS Vita version of Wipeout. I don't know why I think that, but I just prefer it. So at number 3 we have Wipeout Pure for PSP. At number 2 we have the excellent Ridge Racers 2. Now this was an upgrade on the original Ridge Racers game. This is actually the Japanese release, which was a special edition. I'll just show you now. It came with a CD, and the CD is here. It's on the CD. You get all the original soundtracks from Ridge Racers 2, and it's got some. It's got a nice CD there. You can see with a picture of one of the sports car alloy wheels there, with Ridge Racers 2 emblazoned on it, and it looks really cool. I haven't opened it yet. I'll probably stay sealed, but yeah, quite an unusual copy of the game. Ridge Racers, as you know, is classic drifting racing, dead easy to pick up and play, and you're rewarded as you go along by unlocking extra cars. In this, there's a few more extra maps, races if you will, a few more extra cars, so you're getting a little bit more for your money if you're just wanting to invest in Ridge Racers 2 as opposed to just getting Ridge Racers. I'm a big Ridge Racers fan, so I've got all the Ridge Racers games on PSP from all the regions, just because I'm a collector, I suppose. But Ridge Racers 2 is probably the best Ridge Racer game on PSP, so that's why it makes my number 2 in my list. And at number 1, which I consider to be the best racing game on PSP, I couldn't put it down from the minute that I bought it from the shop. Every sort of waking day I was on it, and I just thought it was a fabulous concept and a fabulous game, and it's got to be Test Drive Unlimited. This game how can I say it? It just beats every other racing game, just purely through the open world environments. The fact that you can drive from one side of this particular Hawaiian island to the other. It's got lots of cop chases in it, which are very reminiscent of the Need for Speed franchise, and also the Burnout series. You can't actually upgrade your vehicles, but you can unlock lots of different vehicles and buy lots of different vehicles from different manufacturers as you drive along and you complete certain races. Also, when you beat races, you take the person who you're racing against, you take their car essentially. So you build up a good garage of cars, and you can buy homes equipped with garages so that you can put all your cars in. It's just a fabulous game, and one that I think can't be beaten on the PSP. So that's my number 1. I'd just like to show you a couple of other games didn't quite get into my top 10, but are still fabulous games on the PSP. And one of them's Flat Out Head On, which is almost like a Destruction Derby type game, but obviously more up to date. Lots of races in it, lots of developing of your character and the career mode. It's just an excellent game, and definitely worth a pick up on the PSP. And then you've got another game called Full Auto Battle Lines 2 for PSP. Now it's different in a lot of ways for a racing game, because in this you can actually equip your car with weapons, and you can destruct environments and on the racetrack to get ahead of your opponent. There's just lots of things in it that you can do, and I just think it's a really fun game to play. And often I have a download version of this on my PS Vita, and I often switch my Vita on and I'll just do a few rounds of the game, because you can just pick up and play. It's just a really nice game to play. So that's Full Auto Battle Lines. Next one is quite an unusual game. It was a Japanese only release. Didn't quite get to the top 10 in my top 10, should I say, but still a nice game to play. This is based on another anime franchise in Japan, and it's somewhat different in the way that it plays. It's got some RPG elements in it, and you actually play your races in sections with some cutscenes and dialogue in between, so it's quite different. So that's Midnight Portable. And also we have another street racing game called Street Supremacy, which came out on the PSP back in 2006. This is another well-developed street racing game, very similar to Midnight Club. So there we have it. Some of my racing games that I've got for PSP. I'll share some of those with you at some point. I do have some other videos to show you, and I will be posting them up very shortly. Some new Japanese games and a few other bits and bobs, not just for the PSP but also for the DS and 3DS. So thank you very much for watching, and this is UND Collector signing out. Thank you very much for watching.